Shalom, ladies and gentlemen. It is so good to see you all. Oh boy, so many things have happened in just this 1 week. And now we got yet another fire that occurred from a train that originated in Philly, and it was on its way to Wilmington, Delaware, and it burst into flames. And we're going to talk about this. Now, I have told many of you I was born and raised in the city of Philadelphia, but I'm not going to lie to you. It's a lot of wickedness in the city of Philadelphia, too. It really, truly is. You know, I enjoyed my upbringing there. I met a lot of good people, but I met a lot of wicked people too. And, it must be something going on because for two fires, one from a plane and now one from a train, it appears to me, and maybe some of you see it too, it appears to me that the Most High is attacking all forms of their transportation. The planes, now the train, I don't think these are all coincidences, you know, and I have to tell you, after looking at all the stuff happening with the planes, I'm really scared to get on one now. Maybe I shouldn't be, but I'm not feeling the Gentiles airports and airplanes these days. I'm just not feeling it. And I'm going to show you a video of what occurred about a day ago when people caught the SEPTA train from Philadelphia. They were going to Wilmington, Delaware, and I'm going to show you what happened along the way. So let me share my screen and then we can get started. Okay. Okay, give me a 1 if you can see my screen. Please give me a 1 if you can see my screen. Thank you. Okay.
Riders in Delaware County, their train went up in flames. About 350 people were on board. Incredibly, no one was hurt. Our Shawnette Wilson reports from the scene in Ridley Park.
A frightening night for passengers who evacuated the train but looked back to see smoke turn to flames. The conductor forced to stop here just south of the Crumlin station. I was scared. Pictures showing smoke and flames billowing from a SEPTA regional rail train tonight, forcing a swift evacuation of passengers.
Well, the train left from Philly and somewhere between Ridley Park and I think Norwood, the train started to smell weird and then it got stronger and stronger.
The train was packed with about 350 passengers when it happened during the evening rush around 6 o'clock. SEPTA officials say it started in the first car of the 6-car train.
All of a sudden, we had to get up and relocate to another car, and then we had to get up and relocate again. And that's when I started to see like smoke coming like from the side of the train. And as people were walking by, they're like, the train's on fire.
SEPTA officials say the affected regional rail train on the Wilmington-Newark line had left Center City when there was a report of smoke.
It was at some point after that it was discovered that the first car of the train was engulfed in flames. But by that time, passengers fortunately had been evacuated
Officials say the fire was reported underneath the first car. They're still investigating whether it was the engine or something on the track. Darren Jones was on the first car.
So I'm just glad that Jesus blessed everybody that was on that train and made it safely.
2 SEPTA buses were called in to take passengers the remaining way to Newark. SEPTA crews are credited with a quick response.
Look, the pictures really tell the story of how serious a situation this was, and fortunately, we have an outcome where we don't have any serious injuries, which is pretty incredible.
The cause is still under investigation. Amtrak owns the tracks here. SEPTA leases it, but says SEPTA service remains out indefinitely. In Ridley Park, Shawnette Wilson, Fox 29 News.
Well, you heard that, right? Y'all, I'm sorry, but I think there is something to all of these fires happening on different forms of transportation. Let me just stop that right here. Okay. I think there's something to all of these forms of transportation catching on fire. So we saw the plane crash and all the homes and businesses catch on fire last week in Philadelphia. In Houston, a plane took off and an engine caught fire while they were in flight, you know, and now you got the SEPTA train that burst into flames when it was traveling from Philadelphia to Wilmington, Delaware. Look at all the fire. Everything is involving fire. And what I didn't tell you, and I was going to report on this, there was a major fire in Manhattan. There was a major fire in Manhattan, New York, about 2 days ago. So it's a lot of fire incidents. But I just notice how heavily these forms of transportation is being attacked these days. Wow. Yeah, I mean, I'm almost afraid to just get out there and just be surrounded by a bunch of Gentiles. I don't want to get caught up in the judgment of being around these people, man. I almost feel like that. But I know I still got to be out and about. And this is just part of the judgment that's on this place, and I think we're going to see more of this. There's a reason why every time somebody is out here trying to travel on the Gentiles' transportation system, something is always happening these days. So I got to tell y'all about something personally that have impacted me, and I have not spoken about this, but I will speak about this right now. I went to the doctor about a month ago, and when she listened to my heart, she said she heard a murmur. And I'm like, really? Well, I'm not exhausted. I'm not tired. And she's like, no, it's really there. So I had to get an echocardiogram done. And I'm not going to lie to you, I was scared. And heart problems is one of those real prevalent things on my mother's side of the family, not my father's, but my mother. So I'm like, okay. So I went to my appointment and I prayed and I prayed and I prayed. And the day before, I actually fast and I prayed. And I just asked the Most High, whatever's wrong, if he could just fix it. And if it's in his will to fix it, then I know he will. But if it's not, then I just will live with it. There's a reason why I would have it. So I went and got the echocardiogram done. And about 2 hours after I got home, the doctor contacted me and said, you're fine. They didn't hear any extra sounds. or because all a heart murmur is just an extra sound that your heart is making. All heart murmurs are not bad. Some are serious. Some you get, and I think I know where mine might have come from. Sometimes when you're sick, you will get a heart murmur even if you're a healthy person. But once you're over your illness, it'll go away. And I think that's what happened. When I went to see her, I did have like a slight cold. And she tested me also when I was in there for, C19 cuz I was a little congested, and it came back negative, and she said you probably just have a respiratory infection. And when I went to get my echocardiogram done, I was no longer sick with that cold. And everything came back normal. And when I came home and I prayed again, and all I can say to you is when you think the Most High is not listening to you, He really is. He really is there. And I really believe He was there for me that day. And I watched my mother fall from heart disease, and it was painful watching her die. And just looking at that, I prayed I wouldn't go out the same way. I said, I know I am not your best servant, and I probably am not worthy of even asking you such a thing. But I said, if you can just keep my heart healthy and strong, and I don't go down like a lot of my family members did on my mother's side, I would deeply appreciate that, Father. And I praise him. And I know he was there for me that day. I know Yahushua was there. I know the Holy Spirit was there. I know my angels were there. And I was fine. Even when the lady was doing my echocardiogram, she said everything looked good. The blood was flowing through my heart really well. She said it sound good. She said my heart tissue was not hardened, because sometimes when you have heart disease, your heart tissue will harden. And she said mine was normal. It was normal heart tissue. And I was just so relieved, but I was really relieved after the doctor called and said they found nothing in your heart sound, just normal. It was nothing unusual going on. So, y'all, you know, stay on top of your health. And I think, although everything turned out well for me, I still look at it as uh, uh, I need to pay attention to my health. I'm doing these videos. I am doing my business on the side, but I can't neglect my health in the process. And I even told the Most High, I will not overlook my health. I will definitely pay attention, and I'm not going to push myself. When I first started doing my business, I'm not going to lie, there were days, sometimes I would be up until 2 in the morning getting packages together. And I had to stop myself. I was like, okay, I know I have to do this. I know y'all want your orders, but I can't push myself to the point where I'm not sleeping. So now I have a cutoff time, and then I will get up and I will start again. So I leave myself like a 5 hour window where I just dedicate my time to working on packages and getting your orders out to you. But I won't neglect my health. I won't do that. So, and I'm just asking each and every one of you. I know we are at the end of this captivity, but don't neglect your health. Please look after yourselves. It is real important that you are healthy and strong in these last days. If you're on medication, take your medication. Go to your doctor's appointments. Take care of yourself. If you're on supplements, take your supplements. And One thing that my doctor told me, he said, I'm sorry, not he, but she said, for me at night to take 2 ounces of olive oil and just swallow that before I go to sleep. I've been doing that. And they said, do you know that prevents heart disease? I did not know that. And so I started doing that since the time they told me to do it. I started doing that. And I have to tell you, I notice not only am I feeling better, I notice I'm sleeping better. And I also notice my skin is a lot moist just doing the 2 ounces of olive oil at night before I go to sleep. So it's something that I said I'm going to continue to do. If you don't want to do it straight, you can put it in your tea. If you have tea at night, you can put it in your tea. But I notice that I feel better when I start doing that. So everybody, I won't take anything for granted. That's really the bottom line of what I'm saying to you. So I'm going to go ahead and conclude. And I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you that have supported me all throughout the years. You know, it's been a long journey, my ups and downs on YouTube, but I'm still here. And so are you. So, y'all, I got another live stream coming up, and I hope to see each and every one of you there. So I will see you then. Shalom, family.